I want you to pretend you're in an empty room. The entire room is pitch black.
Okay, so this was another awesome lucid dream I had. Out-of-body experience. They haven't given me an out-of-body experience in a long time where, you know, they kind of just like whip me out through the top of my head or my whole body out, like kind of come into my bedroom sort of thing, or near my bedroom. They haven't given me that in a while. Yeah, like I'm pissed off, but they've been giving me a lot of out-of-body experience, lucid dreams where, you know, you're just starts out, you're already in the, you know, dream walking around, but you don't feel the sensation of them, you know, ahead of time or whatever, taking you out of body or whatever. But which really sucks because I like to fly and all that, but you got to have them to do it. And I don't know why Joel, he hasn't been giving me any experiences. In the dream state he has, but not my out-of-body virtual reality experiences. So I think he's not energized enough yet. So hopefully soon he'll start giving me my out-of-body experience and virtual reality experiences. But yeah, he did just give me an experience. It was all sexual, but it was like, well, it's still virtual reality, but more in the deeper dream state. Okay, so this was a fun experience, another lucid dream that I had after I detoxed or whatever. Because I took bentonite clay and apparently I was very toxic and oh my god, I just like purged everything. But, I mean, I get them regardless, but it's just kind of funny how oh, well, actually what the deal was, no, the reason why I had it was because I didn't eat very much, and so my sugar got kind of low probably. That's why I had all these cool lucid dreams, not necessarily because you know, because I detoxed or whatever. But yeah, see, that makes a difference. That's why I don't want to eat dinner past 6:30 or 7 preferably, because then when I start sleeping, you know, 3, 4, 5 in the morning, I'll just be like, ugh, like I feel so groggy, and then that's when I get the best shit, you know. Like last night I ate at freaking 10:30. Oh, I did get a demon got into my dream state this morning. I'll talk about that in the next one. Next, the next virtual reality experience, because that, I mean, lucid dream, out-of-body experience, virtual reality experience, because that happened around the same time, September 8th, and that was to, who was it? Maury Povich? God, who's the other guy? I wrote it all down. Maury Povich. Oh, yeah. Jerry Springer, Maury Povich Auditorium. But that's my other lucid dream I had. Like 3 good ones after I detoxed or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Hey, no. See, Cesar, he's not diabetic anymore because I don't give him carbs. But he has so much energy now because his sugar stabilized. And he picks fights with all the other cats because he has so much dang energy. Quit that. yeah, he runs around and he has so much more dang energy. So, okay, so this out-of-body experience, lucid dream, I started off standing there in an old 1920s building, just like this. I mean, just, there were, like separate buildings like this, you know, separate buildings over to the left and on around to the, well, mainly kind of over on my left in Delaware. I was either in Maine or Delaware. Well, that's up for debate. But, because at first when I woke up for many hours, I was like, wow, they didn't really tell me where I was at, but I know I was like up, I felt like I was in the northeast of the United States, or north or whatever. And then many hours after that, I was like, wait a minute, they did tell me where I was at, but I totally had forgotten. So I think it was Delaware, they told me where I was at. And, so I'll just pretend like it was Delaware, but that part, they probably blocked it out of my memory or something. Trying to do memory test or something. But, yeah, I tell them, take me to Maine, you know, because they like taking me to all these different places that I've never been to before, and that I've been to before or lived before. That's just what they do. They like to duplicate things, mock things in your lucid dreams or whatever. So basically I was in Delaware, and you know what? I felt like it was autumn. I felt like it was fall time. And so, okay, so basically this place I was staying at, basically I started off in, basically, well, it wasn't really, it was just like a room in an old building. Almost like a hotel room, but not really a hotel room. It was just like a hotel room in an old building like this. 1920s building. And, I've been to Boston before. Maybe they were trying to mock that or something. But, so I was just sitting there and the room was big. I mean, big and very sturdy, concrete and stuff. You know, it was an old building. And it had pretty high ceilings, as far as I remember. Had high ceilings. And anyway, basically, so I had about 3 luggage sitting there, and I was basically unpacking. I was looking down, sitting on the floor, unpacking. Or maybe I quit it, or maybe I was standing up a little bit. But I was in the middle of the floor unpacking and stuff because it was like I was either the alien didn't really tell me exactly what I was, but I was either like a counselor, about to be a counselor, you know, visiting the center, or I was just there to, I felt like I was going to stay for at least, you know, 3 or 4 nights. And I felt like either I was there to just kind of walk around and observe, or that I was going to be like a counselor or something. But that wasn't real clear. And this was just a B experience, wasn't A+ experience. And okay, so basically, so after I did that, after I started unpacking, and it seemed to be like, I don't know, like about 10 in the morning. So I started unpacking, and then I walked out the door, and then I walked over to the right. I was outdoors, I was outside, and I walked, you know, good distance, not a fourth of a mile, you know, 1/16 of a mile. I started walking because I needed to make it to the chow hall. And it's kind of funny because I did have that word on the brain before this experience. I had the word chow, you know, because I was thinking about army and chow hall and stuff. And so the aliens put that in this experience. It's kind of funny. Okay, so then I started looking, I started going to the chow hall, and I needed to hurry up and get there because I knew, you know, they were going to stop serving at about, you know, like 11 or something like that. And I never did make it inside the chow hall. But, so I started walking to the chow hall, and there was a woman with me, just one woman. And so we were walking to the chow hall, and I was just kind of like, you know, we need to hurry up and get there before they stop serving, you know, breakfast and lunch or whatever. And so then we were there to the chow hall, but we didn't go inside or whatever. And I was standing there. She was on my right, and I looked over at her, and I was like, I need some chow. I need some chow. And the aliens are probably mocking that too, because they know I need to kind of, eat at least twice a day. I mean, I could probably get away with twice a day, but I try to eat 3 times a day because I kind of have a lot of dizziness and low blood sugar problems. So, but I looked at her, and I don't remember her saying anything. She could have, and I just don't remember, but I totally remember saying it at least 3 times, like, we need to hurry up and get to the chow hall. I need some chow. I told her that two or 3 times. Quit it! Get back! And, get back, Sadie. And, so then, I turned back around, and over to my right, Patty, my cat Patty, was like, the aliens copied this too, because Patty was always jumping over the fence, and I had to go get her in real life, so the aliens copied this. So I, over to my right, way over to my right, quite a distance, way over to the right, there was a fence, like just like a fence I have, kind of like a wood fence. And I was like, crap, I have to hurry. It's kind of like I was trying to get to chow hall, but I was being distracted. And so anyway, so I hurried up, and I went over there to Patty and grabbed her in my arms. And then, so I go walking, the opposite direction of the chow hall, looking for my room that I stayed at, my building where my room was. It was on the bottom floor, but it was a building, I swear to God, it was very similar to these right here. But like I said, I knew they were old buildings, and I punched in like 1920s, and I was like, wow, that's a good example. Except, so there were separate buildings like this, as I was walking away from the chow hall. Over to my left, there was buildings, and a lot of them, the ones that were like this, were the, where the people stayed at for the facility, for counseling in the facility or whatever. But there were also some other buildings over to the left that weren't related to the inpatient facility for people having trouble with life. Yeah, so there were still some other buildings that weren't part of, the facility buildings, but the facility buildings, I don't know how many there were, probably 6 or 7, But like I say, there were still some other buildings that weren't part of the facility building. And basically, so the aliens basically told me or whatever in the experience that this was like an inpatient facility for people having trouble with life. And previous to this experience, I did have on the brain, me and a person were talking about, in real life about alcohol inpatient facilities. But in this experience, it definitely was not an alcoholic facility. It was for people having trouble with life. And, so basically I couldn't find my building. I couldn't find the building. I knew it was, once I started walking away from the chow hall, it was over to the left. I knew it was over to the left, kind of on a corner, but I still just couldn't find it. I was all lost. I couldn't find it. And I just kept walking. Oh my God. Okay, so, so I couldn't find it. Okay, so then, I started, this went on for a long time, me walking. And then I walked back a little bit, down all these, like sidewalks, and there was grass and everything. And I was outdoors, and then I walked back the other direction towards where I knew that where my building sort of was, where I stayed at in the room. And, I knew, I had to go get my purse as well, and everything. I guess maybe I had forgotten to take it to the chow hall or whatever, but I knew I wanted to go get my purse, and I couldn't find the building where my room was. Okay, so eventually I meet up with 2 women walking along the streets. And one woman, and this was like, I know, like where my building should have been, it was just up around the corner, kind of farther past up around the corner, down the sidewalks. I met up with 2 women. And one of them was totally helpful, and I told her I couldn't find my building, and she was very helpful, and she was going to help me try to find my building. And the other woman just acted like I don't want to help her, because I'm a stranger or something. So she didn't have any desire to help me, but the other one was helpful. Okay, so I never made it back to I never made it into back to my building. And so then after those two girls those two women tried to help me. I mean, except the other one was very, very rude and unhelpful. The other one was helpful and like, yeah, let her, let's try to find her room for her building for her. And then after that, and I also mentioned something about my purse. I need to go get my purse, and my wallet. I mentioned something about that, and I knew that it was in my room. The aliens are always doing this, making me lose my purse and my wallet and shit, or making people steal it, or I'm misplacing it. Oh my god, I hate that. They're doing that all the time in my experiences. Okay, so at the end of the experience, like I say, this wasn't a really good experience, but I mean, it was fun enough. It was good enough. B minus maybe. Better than a C though. Okay, so then the last part of the experience, and like I say, that lasted quite a while as I was like walking. I mean, I walked quite a distance, up, trying to find my, back opposite of the chow hall. I went quite a distance. I kept walking, trying to find my buildings. And then I went way down the sidewalk towards the right side of where all the buildings were. And I walked, and that's where I met up with the two women. I mean, that went on for quite a while, like walking around, trying to find it and stuff, outside in this strange town or whatever. And, so anyway, so the last part of the experience, so after I interacted with the two women and they interacted with me, all of a sudden I walk inside of, and there's probably some stuff I'm forgetting, man, because like I said, this wasn't like an A+ experience. Okay, and then, so the last part of the experience, all of a sudden, a restaurant appeared. Oh my god, because I know a memory's coming back. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah, a memory's coming back, okay? But, so all of a sudden, a restaurant, like, kind of appeared, after the women interacted with me, and I was indoors, and I walked inside, not the restaurant part, the kitchen part. The kitchen. I walked inside the kitchen part. Oh, yeah, the memory came back to me that I looked down. Oh, yeah, that memory came back. Oh, yeah, shit, what was that? I looked down at all the tables, and all the tables... Oh my god, as far as I remember, all the tables had like a little basket on them. It had like a napkin, a basket. And see, this is where I know I'm forgetting some shit. But as far as I remember, that memory came back. I looked down on the tables first, the restaurant part. So yes, I was in the restaurant part before I went back into the kitchen. So the restaurant part, I know it was something very specific, and now I can't remember, but each table, it was like it had a little basket, and then there was, I don't remember seeing silverware, but it was like a basket on each table, and one napkin, but I want to say it was something that I'm forgetting, some kind of food or something that was on every single table, and it was kind of odd. Shit, I forgot about that part. I mean, I forgot. Because, see, that's why I need to stop waiting so long for these bad experiences, because you start forgetting a lot of shit. But anyway, so yeah, so that memory just came back to me. But, so anyway, but all the baskets, I know where they got that from. All the baskets was because I used to go to this Mexican restaurant all the time, and they put, like, red baskets on each table full of crackers. But like I say, I know I'm forgetting some details about what was on the damn each table, exactly alike on each table. So that kind of sucks. But anyway, but I know it seems like there was like a basket on each table, and then like one napkin, and I know I'm forgetting something else. But anyway, okay, so anyway, I end up in the back of the kitchen. I mean, not in the back of the kitchen. I end up in the kitchen after I was in the restaurant part, and there was nobody in there. It was like the restaurant didn't open yet. There was nobody in there sitting in the seats yet, and so I went back into the kitchen, and there was this big man. He looked pretty young, 29, 30. He was the only worker back there, like cleaning up and everything. Well, actually, this part, I guess, doesn't make sense because it was kind of like the restaurant wasn't open yet, which doesn't make sense because when I went back into the kitchen, I guess it's called a, what do you call it? What do you call that? Jump in time or something. Okay, so anyway, so I jumped in time. That's what I'll call it. And there's one guy, and he looked like he was half Hawaiian and half black. He was kind of odd looking, like half Hawaiian, half black, and he was a huge man. Like he could be like a huge football player or something. He was just a huge man, but not muscular, more like fat. And he only looked about 28, 29, 30. And I didn't interact with him, and he didn't interact with me. And he said, I somehow knew when I looked at him, I somehow knew he used to be, not used to be, I somehow knew, trying to hurry up because I want to watch American Warrior Ninja. So I tried to, he didn't interact with me, and I didn't interact with him. And then, but I somehow knew in my head that he was like a drag queen, you know, like on the weekends. I somehow knew that he did like drag shows, and he was a drag queen like on the weekends. Or a cross-dresser, but I think it was more of the drag queen. Yeah, like I somehow knew he was he did that in his spare time on the weekends. And actually, I don't know what day it was that, you know, I started off sitting down in my motel room, so to speak, but I feel like it was like a Wednesday or something. Okay, so anyway, so basically, but this is the other funny part too. And like I say, after I walked out the door of the kitchen, that was the end of the experience. But the other part of the experience was when I looked around. This is the part that didn't make sense, because when I looked in, when I opened the door and I was inside of the restaurant, there was nobody sitting down, and I felt like the restaurant was about to open. Okay, and like I say, I must have did a jump in time, because this part didn't make sense. Because, like I say, when I was in the kitchen, it was like this man, the 29-year-old, he was the only worker. He had already cleaned up the restaurant like as if the restaurant had already closed. He cleaned it all up and everything was orderly. I mean, there was no pans anywhere, as far as I remember. There's no pans. But the funny thing was that like when I was walking along the floor, it just seemed really, really greasy. And I could see like grease all over the silver tables, and there was grease everywhere. So he still needed to do that. He hadn't done that yet. But he had already made everything orderly and cleaned the dishes and everything. And at that time, that's what I'm saying, that was weird, because I felt like it was late at night, you know, like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Because he was closing the restaurant and he was cleaning up the kitchen. And he did a good job, except there was still grease everywhere and all over the floor. So the aliens copied that too, because I've worked in many restaurants and it gets really disgusting back in the kitchen. So they copied that. But anyway, that was my fun, cool, B- lucid dream. Thanks for listening.